if you want to call it that. Okay, then I hate the side angle. It's not flattering.
I know, right? It's like,
We'll turn this way. It's all good. Waiting for him. Story
we want to turn it.
Oh, like turn it more this way?
Yeah, like so that, because I don't think he's gonna be in it. No, you might want to. Yeah.
There he is.
There he is.
Hello.
Hi guys.
First, we have to do a coffee cheers, and be careful because this table never looks at me. Cheers.
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 Welcome to episode number 2
That's right.
of 2020, because yesterday we did an impromptu episode, and this table's a little wobbly.
Yeah.
And I
Like
hate
my heart. Sugar face stuff.
Don't be nervous, Jen.
Jennifer. I'm so excited, you guys. Wait, I don't want to cover you. Let me move back.
You were not covering me. We're good. You can see me.
I'm not big enough.
You're fine.
There you go.
Little coffee.
Yes.
So the important questions. We're going to ask them on
Holy
this
crap.
show. This is the show. How do you feel, how do you really feel about the prince wanting financial independence and leaving the royal family?
Are you freaking kidding me, bro? You know what? He is
Tell
being,
the truth!
Okay, ready? He is being his authentic self.
Yes!
And I fully support that. So
Same.
cheers, Prince.
That must
Harry?
be Harry.
Okay.
That must be a miserable life to live like that. So I'm all for it. Do your thing. You have one life to live.
Yeah.
The queen gave him permission. Like, give me a fucking break.
Okay, we can say that already.
We can say whatever. We can say whatever
You
here.
can say whatever.
You gotta be your authentic self.
And those are the things that matter.
Yeah.
So,
That's what it's all about.
anyway,
What an icebreaker.
enough of the shenanigans. Let's get to the nitty gritty. So Jen is on the show today.
Hi, guys.
She is the first guest of 2020.
Very excited.
And Jen was part of Team Forever, and
It's not gonna
competed at the WBFF Atlantic City show. That was her first show.
Yes.
Lais did that show as well.
Thank God.
And it's been quite the journey. So we wanted to have her on and kind of share what her journey was like and talk a little bit about all of the things that she went through and how miserable dieting is and how hard and difficult it is.
How much she hates you.
Don't do it. No, I'm just kidding.
Like how hard all of it is and how no one
should do it.
no one should do it. I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
I'm here for that.
So let's start with, I guess, what made you decide to compete?
Do I look at you people or do I look at the camera?
You
Do
know,
I do both?
I guess we could have a conversation because
Okay.
we're also.
Is this your first podcast?
Okay, first of all, I'm obsessed with podcasts, as you know.
Yes.
So the fact that this is my first podcast,
Yay! So many firsts.
so many firsts this year, I'm
Yes.
kind of freaking out.
Yes. No, it'll flow.
It's
You'll
only
see.
mid-January.
I mean, it's all done
And
for the year,
We've
right?
been talking about doing her podcast and a few of the other competitors, and this past weekend, her and I were at an event, and we were chatting, and I was like, oh my God, we have to do your podcast. It's going to be so good. And she's like, yeah. I'm like, let's do it Sunday. She's like,
Monday, and then, yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm super excited.
Thank you.
So, yes.
The journey.
So what made me decide? A year ago, I would say December of 2018, I came to one of the sessions that you guys had, a seminar about the WBFF show, and was like, this is pretty amazing. I've always been curious about like the bodybuilding thing, and I've had friends do other federations, but it never really seemed like it was something that I was interested in. And it was just like, wow. I mean, I think one of the first things you said was like, you don't have to have boiled chicken and broccoli all the
You
time.
don't.
And I
You
was
so
like,
don't.
If you
sold,
did, I
sold.
would have never competed if that was
I
the
mean,
requirement.
it's almost
Yeah.
the other day, like Monday, whatever day today is.
Today's Monday.
Somebody here, a member of our gym,
Oh shit, if it's you, I'm sorry. I'm about to call you out.
in conversation, maybe, you know, a lot of people that come here don't know that we do that. Don't know that
Yeah.
that stuff happens here. And I think maybe your video was playing or a video was playing, and they're like, yeah, those you know, bodybuilding, fitness, bikini people, I mean, but you could only get like that if you're eating asparagus and fish is verbatim what they said. And I said, that's not true. They're like, no, yeah, it is. And I said, it's really not. But
don't argue with him.
He's right. It's not fun.
But can you believe that?
Yeah, it's what you said. A lot of people just don't realize that we do that. That you do that.
Yeah.
The food part is, I mean, beyond what people think. But anyway, so he had you at, you don't have to eat
boiled chicken and broccoli.
You're like, so
yeah, exactly. But I was in the process of getting married, and so had to kind of prioritize that. Love you, babe, if you ever watch this. And
is that the boulder?
That's the boulder.
Boulder holder.
Oh no, it's been recorded. Now you're screwed. And so the biggest thing for me was being 36 years old and really never have gone to the beach without a cover up, like literally, like
in your life,
covered. And if I can talk to my 17-year-old self now, I would say, girl, just take that off. But yeah, and I thought, wow, what a goal to have, where like you literally have no choice but to be on a stage with bright lights
on you,
with people you know and a bunch of people you don't know, looking at your behind.
So,
without a cover up.
So from never ever wearing a bikini in public to wearing one on a stage.
That's crazy.
That's ballsy as fuck.
Yeah.
I love
that.
I
That was ballsy.
That's awesome.
Yes.
So that was my number one priority.
And none of that was discussed.
She never told us that.
I didn't. Yeah. I was just like, I want to get a shave.
Right.
I don't
honestly,
believe you, but I'll try.
If you're listening to this or if you're watching this, that is really how you should open that conversation.
Yeah.
Truthfully, like
all the cards on the table.
As a coach, if you walk through the door and said something like that, like the magnitude that carries to want to make that happen is so big. That
the more I think of a realistic and open book, all cards on the table kind of picture you can paint for the person that's going to get you there.
Yeah.
Not only the more invested, I mean, he's invested the same way in everybody, but there's a clearer vision of that path and what it means. And I think that that's sometimes what it is. We know that this is about so much more than just like, oh, looking better. There's such an
100%.
internal and emotional side of it. So getting to know that makes everyone connect to that process more. So I think you're right. Okay.
Yeah, and I think too, sometimes you don't realize like what your number one purpose is. You know, like, and I think for me, it was like look good in a bikini.
Yeah.
But then it really became so much more than that. You know, it became like a way to just get like mentally strong, emotionally strong, but you can't put those things into words when you're first starting because you don't realize that that's what's going to happen.
Exactly. Like very few people go into this journey and they're like, I want to be more confident and I want to grow and I want to like all the things that you end up experiencing that we're going to get into that you end up experiencing because of that.
Yeah.
A lot of times people go into it with just that physical goal, right?
Which is okay to have.
Yeah,
100%.
It's okay to have. Like it's okay to, and this week has been a big week. Because I talked to somebody else that struggled to say that that's what they wanted. They're like, I know that it's vain, I know that it's this, but I really just want to look better.
Can you stop doing that?
Sorry. It's because it's real.
I know, but we're recording here and then people are going to get a banging thing.
If you're listening to this, I am banging on the table. But it hurt a little bit for them to admit that that's what they want.
Yeah, what's the problem with being vain or being...
But it's not, vanity's not like, you're not hurting anybody if you want to look
you're
better.
not only worried about that. Like, what's the problem with wanting to look a certain way? There's nothing wrong with that.
Everybody wants to look good.
Yes.
So if you're not saying it, you're full of shit.
Amen.
Everyone wants to look good.
Yep.
Whatever your definition of that is, but everyone wants to look good.
100%.
So anyway, move forward.
So I wanted to look good.
Yeah.
There we go.
And, while I trusted and put 100% faith in the process, there were still a lot of questions and doubts, like, will my body look a certain way? Will I be able to do these workouts or this meal prepping? I'm like not a cook at all. And was like, I'm going to have to make everything, like not takeout, but there's so much flexibility in the way that it happened as well. So it was challenging, but it was like such a rewarding challenging.
So you knew that it was going to be an obstacle in terms of
For
like
sure.
the different areas you were afraid of.
Or week in.
And it was all out of your comfort zone, but you wanted the outcome more than those obstacles.
Yeah, and I would say this was 100% out of my comfort zone. 100%. And that's the number one reason why I chose to do it.
Yes.
And I think that that's great. And a lot of times people don't want to do something because it's hard.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's hard is what scares them. And as they're doing it, it being hard is the reason that they quit a couple days in, because something comes up. This came up, that came up. Oh, it's so hard. Yeah, it's hard.
Yes.
Of course. But isn't that the point? Like, isn't the accomplishment of overcoming something that's hard the point? Like, if it was, honestly, like, it sounds like one of those things, but if it was easy, everybody would do it.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. It's also hard to, like what I always say too, like it's hard to hate the way that you look, to hate the way that you feel, to feel disappointed in yourself for setting a goal and not seeing it through again. So pick your hard. Like at the very least, this hard leads you somewhere that you know is going to make you better and make you feel better.
Yeah, and that accountability.
Exactly.
I mean, it was definitely the accountability of being on stage in front of a bunch of people.
Knowing that was coming.
Like you had to do it. Like there was just no option.
Yeah.
And wanting to go on stage knowing that I did 100% everything that I possibly
She really did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the keys to that are what she said, the flexibility and making sure that you have to understand that when you want to take on something like this, not every diet is for everybody, right? And you don't have to follow. If you follow somebody on social media or if you follow somebody on anywhere, and they got in really good shape because they ate tilapia and asparagus, that doesn't mean that would work for you anyway. Mm-hmm. So every diet is not for everybody, but at the same time, you have to look at all of the things that go into making your body shift into the way that you want it to look, and making sure that whatever style of eating you pick fits into your life long term.
Yes.
Not for the next 2 or 3 weeks because you're going to make a really big sacrifice.
Or even 12 weeks.
Because those kinds of results don't happen in 2 or 3 weeks.
No,
so
they don't.
As a matter of fact, they don't happen at all in the first 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And that's always what I am. Like, we've had other people on the show, but I don't think that it was on video, only on audio, so you could look that up. Yeah. But I always ask everybody, how did that feel? Knowing that you were
We were talking about that the other day.
Knowing that you were doing 100% and it wasn't happening.
Yeah. Oh my God. We were talking about that. So like a month and a half into everything.
A month and a half. Not a week.
Yeah, no. I mean, realistic expectations. Like a month and a half, I was just like, holy shit. Like, I'm drinking the water. I'm eating the freaking food. And sometimes it's like a lot of food. Spoiler alert, it's a lot of food.
You're not going to starve.
You're not going to die and starve. And the workouts were great, but it just felt like, holy shit, what am I going to look like that girl that I have envisioned in my brain to look like? And
it hasn't happened in 6 weeks.
It hasn't happened. Like, what the hell? What kind of crap is this? And I reached out to Lais, and I was just like, I'm having a rough time. And you know what the problem was? I was also comparing myself to other people, too.
On social media.
Looking at other girls that had gone through, transformation. Not like pros, but other women who had gone through transformations maybe around the same time, although I thought it was around the same time, and realized, like, no, they took, like, a year to get to that point. And just realizing that I needed to check myself. Well, she really checked me. To be like, stop comparing your shit. Every single person's journey is so unique and so specific. Mm-hmm. And that's the negative of social media. Of course, there's a lot of positives, but I was literally like, why don't I look like that girl who I'm pretty sure is also 6 weeks along in her journey? And even if she was, we were not going to have the same results.
And not only that, if she's 6 weeks into this journey, what does she do her whole life before that? It's not just about the prep. Okay, maybe you're prepping for the same stage at the same time, but she's prepped before, or she started her journey a year ago or two, or whatever the case is. You just can't compare.
And that really leads me into the next question, which should help anybody who's in a similar situation. It's like, what makes you believe at that point that something should have happened? Like, what data did you have in your mind that said, well, at this point I should already be there?
Yeah.
Or see more.
Is it past dieting style?
100%. I think that, you're always into like the quick fixes, lose this amount of weight in 2 weeks, or you do a challenge, or you do.
Wrote an email about that yesterday.
I read it.
Get on the list.
It was very long, but it was good. Yeah, and I think
Shameless plug.
the yo-yo dieting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then what happens? You lose 8 pounds and 2 inches in X amount of days or weeks. You go back to the same eating habits that you did before because you didn't address it, or you didn't learn what works for your body or whatever. And that's another thing, you really figure out what settles well with your body and what doesn't. And then what happens? You go back to your old habits and you gain all of that weight back, and chances are even more so.
So why doesn't, because I don't normally ask this, but why doesn't the person that goes through that process, or in your case, that loses whatever, 8, 9, 10, whatever amount of weight in a short time, and then gains it back, if it happens more than once, how come you never remember gaining it back? You only remember, oh, I was able to lose 10 pounds in whatever amount of time.
Or by the next time you do that, why don't you think to yourself, like, this is actually not quick, like, this takes longer. So keep ending it back here.
But the question is specific to why one recollection and not the other.
Got it. Why do you only remember what you lost?
Right. Why
I don't know. I think you do remember.
Do you think
that
about
you
your
gain.
thoughts?
I think I do. I am very meta.
Okay.
Metacognition, thinking about your thinking. I'm a teacher. I think you do remember. I just think that the quick fixes oftentimes doesn't get to the root of maybe why
Right.
you're doing all that yo-yoing. And I think also too, a lot of people don't know how to do it the right way. And so you tend to go back to what you already knew. Like,
You think that
you
that's
think
the way.
that that's the way because you just don't have a coach who can tell you otherwise. So I think that's the issue. There's a lot of misinformation out there. So you end up in the same
I think I have
cycle.
that conversation a lot. Like even when explaining to people, listen, here's how your body actually works, and here's what's actually going to happen. And I know that I'm hitting the table again, but after
Is that you crazy?
after explaining all of it,
I want you to be real, baby. Be your
Authentic
authentic self.
Hashtag
Hit the
authentic.
table.
I would probably be punching. So right now, it's fingers. But anyway, after explaining all of it, it is so interesting to see how somebody reverts back so quickly into, the last time I did, that Chinese banana diet, I lost 5 pounds the first 2 days. It's a real thing.
Yeah, it's
you can
weird.
Google that.
It
It's
is
so
freaking weird.
I would die if I ate banana.
I do love bananas, but that sounds
No.
weird.
And there is a
Yeah.
real watermelon flush diet.
I have heard of that.
It's,
Have you ever heard of the alphabet one?
No.
Literally, a girl that I knew did the alphabet one where she would only pick one type of food for each letter, and that's all she would eat that day. So like A was like for apple. So like Monday would be all
There you go.
apples.
Like if that is your style of dieting,
You kidding me?
there's a-
No, I'm not kidding you.
I love the intuitive one. That's my favorite. Because if I intuitively ate,
there's all
holy
kinds.
shit.
I need to know that I need to eat 4 ounces
There's
of something.
a dark chocolate diet because dark chocolate's healthy.
Yeah, it's very healthy.
Listen,
The wine diet?
there's one for everybody. But no matter what, and no matter how it is explained that didn't work, and even if the person went through that and it didn't work, and by it didn't work I mean you lost the weight and gained it back. It is so interesting how easily somebody reverts back to, well, when I did the wine diet or the this diet, I
It
lost
worked.
5.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. It's like, I don't think that shift has gone from that actually doesn't work if you have to keep going back
Yeah.
and forth.
Right.
And
People
I think
like,
it's
it works.
just, it works, period.
It worked because I lost X amount of weight. It didn't work because I gained that weight back. That's not
Exactly.
working.
Right. That is by definition not working.
Not working.
Exactly.
So if you are listening to this or watching this and you went on a diet and lost a couple of pounds and gained it back, by definition, it didn't work.
But a lot of times people are like, yeah, but then I got lazy and then I went back to my habits.
Yes.
Yeah, you should change your habits.
You gotta
Not go
change
on
your
a crazy
That's
diet.
what it is, 100%.
That
All
is
about
it.
the habits.
Mic drop.
Boom. It's a wrap, guys. Thanks for coming to the show.
So, aside from habits, one of the things that I love about this journey specifically, because like you said, and like you always say, because there's a deadline, then you're kind of forced to stick it out, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that it really changes is your relationship with food. Because, like she said, you have to eat so much sometimes, so much more. Like,
So much more than you think.
you even said, like, I'm supposed to eat all this rice. So how did you feel when you first got your meal plan?
Yeah, I was like, rice? In the past, I would feel like I have a spoonful of rice and I'm gonna blow up. Like,
I look at rice and
This
I
is
blow
gonna
up.
be the opposite. I smell bread in the bakery and I'm like, boom, you know? So, and I think that was what I was skeptical about. I can admit that now.
Yeah. Well, you can put it
You're like,
on.
okay, whatever now.
I already know.
I know. That's the
everything
funny
is very
thing.
creepy. It's very creepy. But a good creepy. Like, I don't know if that's a good creepy, but whatever.
I'd be married to him.
Yeah. But it was so much food. I didn't realize that whole like repairing your metabolism thing was like a thing.
It's a thing.
I didn't realize, and I'm sure there are other women out there that have gone through this the way I have, where like you don't eat anything all day because you have this awesome event at night that you're gonna wear this like super tight dress,
Yes.
and you literally don't eat anything because you don't want like like the pooch
Yeah.
thing,
Yep.
and it's like as I went through the process, I was like, wow, I've had rice 4 times today. And chicken and other things. Croqueta, guys, croqueta.
And was there a pooch at night?
There was no pooch.
Wait, and here's the best
The
thing.
pooch was gone, guys.
So you wanted to see results at 6 weeks or some results, but you didn't think, I'm eating all this fucking food.
Yeah.
And there's no pooch.
And
That's
feeling
a
really
result.
good. And feeling really good. Yeah, and feeling really good.
Right.
Not having brain fog. Not feeling bloated. There's nothing worse than feeling bloated, and I think I was at a point where like it almost felt like that was my normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't
And
notice.
until you realize that it's not,
And everyone ties the word result to the scale.
Yes.
And it is the
Very
it is-
scary at
it's-
first.
It's
Sometimes.
so interesting that people will feel better, have less brain fog, have more energy, start
Eat more,
to start
so
to
they feel
look
good.
better,
Yeah.
and all these things are
Have
happening.
energy.
Yet they will say, well, this isn't working because the scale hasn't
Yeah.
budged. People, you've got to start tying the way that you feel into the actual result instead of just a number on the scale, because the way that you feel is actually how your body is responding to what you're doing. If you lost 10 pounds and feel like shit,
Yep.
that's
Yes.
not good.
No.
Weak,
That
dehydrated,
is not
exhausted.
good. There is no point to that.
And that's the part I think that people miss, whether somebody comes on this journey to get on stage or just in general with nutrition coaching. I think people miss, they think it's all about like, well, I gotta lose these 20 pounds or whatever it is,
Yeah.
right? No one takes into consideration, we're gonna repair your metabolism. Yes. Your gut, like fixing
Yeah.
the gut change. I posted about that today. It changes everything. The way that you feel, like the brain fog, the bloatedness, changing your relationship with food, changing your relationship with the scale. Like so many things go into this journey and so many things get repaired.
Yeah.
A lifetime of shit from people's brains that
Yeah.
they are like thinking and living this crazy thing about dieting and about food and about the way that they look.
Yeah.
All of that is fixed. It's not just, okay, then go on this journey so I can get on stage with a 6-pack.
Yeah.
And that's really what I want you to I think, touch on next,
Mm-hmm.
because that to me is the most powerful. Obviously, she looks amazing. Post show, we went to New York,
Oh my god.
where it was my mission to eat.
But before that,
And we were all
before-
along for the
I
ride.
just want to show, like,
Right.
she's done a lot of crazy eating in the past
Yeah.
month, and she
Right.
still looks amazing.
But before we get into the fun, all she does is the fun stuff.
Hello.
We should put a list of the restaurants down below.
It'll be in the comments. It'll be in the description.
I like the fun part, okay?
Yeah,
The
we walked
technical
for blocks to get a cookie.
Yeah, we did. Like literally, like
But
30 minutes.
We're 15 days into the year, and all year I've been talking about habits.
Yes.
Every post, not every post, but a lot of posts, a lot of emails about habits, because it is a bigger indicator of whether or not you were going to have success in your dieting or training or honestly whatever. I think I posted because I read it over the weekend that almost 90% of what we do is habitual. And it's almost like everything is on autopilot.
Yeah.
So what were some of the habits that either old ones that were preventing you from moving forward or new ones that set in as a result of this?
That's a great question.
That's a good question. Damn.
If only I let him do his brain thing.
I'll talk about cookies.
And then we'll talk about fun. All right,
Habits. A lot of planning and prioritizing myself. So I think like for working out, for example, being, I'm too tired, or I had a really busy day, or I have to do XYZ thing.
I am too tired and I had a busy day.
But I think with that goal being like, there's no way you can miss your workout. Like, zero.
It's non-negotiable.
It's non-negotiable. And then what you realize is, even if you're dragging ass, you finish that workout and you never, ever regret it. There has never been a workout that I regret. Or a time where maybe I wasn't feeling that great and was kind of like, I don't know if I should, I don't know if I shouldn't. I do, you don't, like if you have a fever and stuff like that, consult your doctor. But you just feel so good after. And that habit creates this like sense of like, oh shit, I am so committed to myself. That in and of itself is like a huge shift.
It showed up for me.
Yeah, 100%. The food, it's like, I am not a planner. I am not a prep food. I mean, I am now, because, whatever. But takeout or just like random shit, like would just come up and it's like, okay, I'm just going to do that. And just, now it's like I fucking meal prep.
Who are you?
Who am I? My poor husband, if you're watching this, baby, thank you for joining the journey and cooking with me now. So that was huge. And I think in terms of bad habits, I had such a negative, he probably doesn't know this, but I have such a negative, I had, past tense, such a negative relationship with food for a really, really long time. And so binging, like that, like having that like emotional connection to food, and then the effects of that of making you feel like shit, whether or not you were heavy or not, was huge. And this whole process really changed that a lot for me. I think that the process has been great to change me physically, obviously, but, and not to say that I'm where I want to go, and we still have a lot of goals that we've set to get to the next level, but for me, it's the mental strength that the process gave me, I no longer worry about, if I binge, first of all, I mean, we have enjoyed some treats.
Yes.
Within somewhat moderation. He laughs because he gets pictures of our food all the time.
Yeah, I don't know why she's doing that. I'm like, can you stop sending him the pictures?
And if you're a friend of mine on Instagram, you know what my food is because I post it as accountability. But there's no... If you binge, like, that's just not a thing for me anymore. It's just not necessary because, I know that I can get right back on track. And I have someone that's taught me that rice is not the devil, bread is not the devil. Maybe there's certain things that don't settle with my body. Is it supposed to be doing that?
It's
Sorry.
yeah. Clients are texting.
Oh, okay, sorry.
That's the norm.
Got it. My bad.
Even a cheat day is not the devil.
No, and it's so crazy because I remember when he put, I don't know how far into it was, but it was like pizza. I had pizza on my plan, and I was like, little pizza. Like pizza?
Sounds good, but
like,
do you
really?
know what
Like Italian pizza or like cauliflower pizza, with fake mozzarella, like vegan stuff. And like it was fine. Like it taught me that it was okay to enjoy, and so it almost took also away that like when people binge, you tend to eat so much because it's like this feeling of I'm never gonna be able to have this again, or I'm never gonna be able to enjoy this again. And this feeling really, this process really does teach you that that's not true. Like, there's a place and a time for everything. Obviously, everyone's fitness goals are different, but it's not like an end-all, be-all, or an all or nothing type of situation. And I've also been on the flip side of, like, being really restrictive with my diet. And my gosh, how low my calories were when we started. Now it's like the mental strength also, the commitment to myself, showing up for myself, prioritizing my health.
Yes.
My mindset has changed so much. Like, I can't even tell you how much the mindset has changed. It's like, there is absolutely, I mean, I'm not perfect, and obviously, like, I'll complain or worry. I am a huge worrier. But there's, like, at this point, I'm like, there's really nothing that I can't face and get on the other side of. And I don't know that I could have said that 6 months ago. And
it's only been 6 months.
Yeah. Has it only?
It's not been 6 years.
Yeah, 6 months, guys.
I love that so much because I know, how hard it is sometimes to share something personal like struggling with food, having a bad relationship with it, binge eating, all the things that we discussed, but also, like, maybe sometimes people are listening like, yeah, but, she plans her food and she works out. It's like, that wasn't always the case. No. It's something you develop. It's something that you put yourself in that situation and you show up. And then sometimes you don't. In her case, she always did, but I don't sometimes. So everyone's different, right? And you just go one day at a time, one foot in front of the other. And that part right there, like the there's nothing that I can't face, is what people miss when they see a stage picture. When they see you in a bikini all tanned with abs, they think, oh my God, like that, they just want to look like that, or I can never do that. Like, people put such a negative thing on it and don't realize that A, it's what you're getting is so much more than the body, but B,
oh my gosh, so
if you think that you can't do that or you don't need that, you need it.
Yeah. If
you're that person, you're the one that needs it most.
Yeah.
Even you right now, like, there's still, like, even some things before you said it, like, look at me now. I mean, not that I'm where I want to be. And now I would say, I mean, not that, like, you don't have to justify.
Yeah.
We do that because
Work in progress, guys. Work in progress.
We all are. But we do that because we think someone is judging.
Yes.
Because we think that they think we're full of ourselves. If we say, look at me now. Yeah, look at you now. Like, you don't have to be exactly where you need to be. You probably will never be exactly there. Because you never really arrive when we're growing. Yeah. But you don't have to justify that. Like, you've arrived at the very least at this step.
Yeah.
And that's something to be so proud of,
Yeah. And to be able to, so for my experience on stage, I was actually at a pro-am show. And so being with...
Which is a pro and amateur show.
Pro-am.
Pro-am. And...
I just wanted to contribute.
He's like, can I talk now?
Taking over, guys. Taking over the joint. And it's funny because when I knew that I was going to do that kind of show in particular, like, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, holy shit, I'm gonna be on in the backstage with a bunch of professional people, be on stage. I mean, it was gonna be such a huge show, and I was crapping my pants. Like, I'm not gonna freaking lie, crapping my pants.
Could you tell?
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Of course he can.
You can tell.
Because he's creepy like that. He's like a weird sixth sense thing.
Yeah.
And to get there. And I swear I would tell people, I'm going to throw up before I go on stage. Like, I know I'm going to throw up. Like, and by the way, throw up because I was still eating that day and drinking water. Oh, for those of you that are like, oh, you have to starve yourself and not have a drop of water, whatever. It's crap.
The night before, we went to have burgers.
Yeah, I had guac and chips.
And I think it was the first time in the entire prep that she refused to listen. I'm like, we have made it this far. We are hours from getting on stage.
Okay, so I was still crapping my pants the day before, whatever.
And this is when you decide not to.
I'm telling you, eat a fucking burger, and you're over here telling me.
I would literally never question him. But yeah, that day I was like, are you sure? And he was literally looking at me like, oh,
he was mad.
No, you did it. Sorry.
He was mad.
Yeah. We are in another state.
I'm in charge here.
Oh my God. Okay, so I was freaking out, but like 4 months, whatever. My prep was for 4 months, give or take. And to get on stage and not be nervous was like amazing. I mean, literally, like there's guys from covering up, or like, when you do like you're sitting, like, you're sunbathing and you have your the towel underneath you, so that when you do have to get up, you just like grab it, and then like you walk to the edge of the pool, and then you drop, like you scoot down, and then you put the towel on the ledge, and then you like swim, and then you come up, and then you like slowly back up your butt, but like on the towel thing, like that's what I would do. To go from that to like,
hello guys,
and not throw up, and feel super confident, and feel like such a badass was just 100% priceless. Like crazy. Crazy.
I love to hear that.
That's the best.
Go.
I was still going back to.
We went too far.
Went too far.
I'm like,
reel it in, guys.
They want to go really fast, and I actually want
we should talk about.
I know, but there was something that she said. Here's the truth. We got like 5 minutes, so this is probably gonna need a part 2.
Oh shit.
I thought he was gonna say we got 5 minutes, but this is my gym, so we finish when we finish. Classes are gonna start without me.
That's what I would normally say.
We've evolved.
But here's the thing, like there was, we have evolved a little bit.
Baby steps.
I'm being considerate of other people.
Wow.
On the show, look, it's live. Considerate of
recorded.
other people. A little considerate. Don't take it.
Don't get carried away.
Carried away.
Yeah.
But I wanted to address how she felt during her binging, and I want to address how she feels during her binging. Because she binges too.
All the time.
And
I do.
And the way that
I binge because of peer pressure.
the way that she feels like once she starts, I think has to be is helpful and valuable to other people. Yes.
No problem.
He's like, oh Nelly, lay on the couch. Let's talk.
So I think that needs to be shared.
Okay, I'm down.
So that people, you know what it is? Most of the time, she hears and I hear, like, oh, you diet all the time and you must work out 3 hours a day, and you're like, no, people, like.
And you have him all the time, like that's a freaking good thing.
Let me tell you.
I love you, but
the amount of complaining, you would not believe the amount of complaining. The amount. I mean.
What did I do to you?
Yeah,
why do you hate me?
What the fuck is this plan? What happened?
Why did you go from 6 ounces of rice to 4 ounces of rice? Or then you complain, you're like, this is so much food. How am I supposed to eat all this food?
Yeah, I've been complaining a lot. I'm like, why do you hate me? What did I do? Like, what's the problem?
He's just like the little puppeteer guy.
So I think that all of those things actually need to be talked about.
Yes.
Because I think that would be of value to the person that says, I can't because whatever, I love chocolate too much.
And that's an amazing point, because everyone looks at Instagram, everyone looks at the pictures on the wall, they look at the accomplishment, the highlights, the videos that are looping, or even like just seeing people that you admire, that you like that are in shape or whatever in front of you. You never think of they're human. Like what goes on behind all of that. It's like you can be in shape and still not eat perfect all the time, or have a lot of other mindset or any issues. Like we're all human and we're all doing our best. I think the only difference is if someone's accomplished something that you haven't, is because they were consistent for a little bit longer, or they maybe took steps that you haven't yet. But I think you're totally right. That realness is really what connects people and makes them be like, all right, like they do that too. Like I never would have thought, how many times, like whether it's a celebrity or someone that you see that you're like, that happened to them?
Yeah.
They're a hot mess? Like, hell yeah, we're all hot messes.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
And the biggest difference is the amount of consistency versus when that happens.
Right. Like how often.
Right. And I think that some people prevent themselves from getting started or from even considering it because they don't think they can overcome the one time.
Yes.
Everybody has it, and here's the thing, when we map out food or when I plan food for everybody, the stuff that you think is going to be the thing that you can't give up is the first thing we put in.
Yes.
So if that thing for you is pizza in her case, or
Nutella.
Yeah, like whatever the non-negotiable is, coffee the way you enjoy it, whatever the non-negotiable is, that is where we begin, because that is not the thing that you need to give up.
It goes
and that is
plan.
not how you're going to find consistency.
And that is what I think keeps you from that endless loop of success, failure, weight loss, gain. It's because it's not sustainable.
It's like a vicious
They're
cycle.
not sustainable.
Yeah.
They're not,
Yeah.
And I tell everybody, like, this process, I think, especially with the food, I mean, it's like something that for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I will literally have him as my nutrition coach for the rest of my life.
And that's what people need to get the most.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be picking a plan to get in shape for the next 2 weeks. You should be figuring out how you can get whatever result you want.
Right.
And it doesn't matter how big it is.
Right.
and how you can keep it.
Yes.
That's the win. Keeping it. Not the I lost 10 pounds on the wine diet or watermelon flush or whatever and gained 20 when I started eating regular food again. That isn't the result that you should be striving for.
Right.
It should be, how can I incorporate a style of eating that will make me feel good, make me look good, because it's okay to look good.
It's okay, guys.
And let me keep that long after I started and long after I got to that outcome.
And build from there too.
And build from there too, because one of the things that I said to her and I say to everybody, day one, I don't want you to get this outcome and then lose it a couple of days after the show is over.
Yes.
Shows are always on a Saturday, and for the average competitor that is doing something crazy, they look great Saturday night and look and feel like shit on Monday morning.
Feel like
so
shit.
We don't want that. You know, we want you to look good Monday after the show, the week after the show. If you happen to come to New York with us next year, and we're out in Times Square.
Fun.
This year.
2020.
Yeah, 2020.
We're gonna go to Atlantic City, and after Atlantic City, we are all going back to the Times Square.
Yes.
We're gonna hang out. So come hang out with us.
Yes. For 30 minutes for each meal. That'd be great.
Yeah, that's how. Listen.
That's how you burn it off.
That's how you burn it off. You have pizza, and then you walk 17 blocks for your dessert.
That's right.
But we will pick up on the stuff that I just talked about during our next episode. But we need Jen to commit to the next episode.
I'm committed.
Sooner than later,
that wasn't that
Jen.
painful.
Oh no, it wasn't painful at all. I am a very private person, so this is a big deal.
Yes.
This is how much I love
I'm
that.
a very private person too. I am.
I know.
Yeah.
When did you stop being private?
Right now, I'm live on the internet.
Oh my gosh. Insert eye roll.
Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. We're gonna do an episode where I'm interviewing him. It's already in the works, and we're gonna go through all of the non-personal.
I just have to have my lawyers look over the questions ahead of time.
Oh my god. We're gonna get very personal with him, so don't even worry about it.
Everybody's like, oh shit.
Coming.
Put it on my
When is that
So till next time, we will be back. The very next episode that we do will be with Jen.
Coach.
And we will continue this conversation, and we'll talk a little
So
bit
the
about.
next episode is going to be about binging, specifically.
Well, we'll start at binging, and we'll then
And mindset. I think we should talk about mindset too.
mindset, binging, and we'll talk about the rest of the journey to the stage, how that weekend played out.
How did you feel?
How did you feel? How it's been since then is critical because so what that you got on shape or in shape on stage. It's what happened after.
That moment is so quick.
Here we are a month
Literally.
after, almost 6 weeks after.
And it felt like so far away, and then it happened, and it was like.
And that's why you
Done.
can't just focus on that day and on that moment, because that whole weekend just comes and goes. Like all of a sudden it's done, and it's about the after. It's about
the journey and then the aftermath.
So if you watched yesterday, we announced the cooking workshop. We announced
the retreat.
The
Workout
retreat.
After Dark.
Workout After Dark. We announced, and if you're interested in competing, we are going to be at 5 shows this year with our team.
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry. Never mind.
With what was she saying?
The meeting. We have a meeting over the
Yeah.
weekend with our team because we get together with the team and talk.
Yes.
The support is amazing. Amazing support.
But if you are interested, if you are watching or listening, reach out. You know, we're here to help.
We'd love to
Do it,
chat.
guys. Do it. You won't regret
Do it.
Peace out.
it.